Now we are going to discuss about salts. Our chapter heading is acid, base and salts. We discussed about acid and bases. Now we are going to discuss about salts. Salts are ionic compounds made of a cation other than H plus and an anion other than OH minus ions. We already studied about cation and anion. Cation is what is an ion? Ion is a charged particle. We studied in our 5th standard in previous chapter. Ion is a charged particles. Cation is the positively charged ions and anion is negatively charged ions. Salt is a ionic compound. That also we studied in previous chapter. Ionic compounds and covalent compounds. Ionic compounds are formed by the for attraction between a positive ion and a negative ion. So, salts are ionic compounds made of cation other than H plus ion and an anion other than OH minus ion. Again, going through the formation of salt. Salts are formed in many reactions involving acid and base. All reactions we already discussed in the property of acid and in the property of base. First one, the neutralization of acid and bases. In the case of neutralization, when acid reacts with base to produce salt and water. For example, NaOH, sodium hydroxide is a base, react with HCl, hydrochloric acid, gives salt NaCl plus water H2O. This salt NaCl is the common salt we used in our daily food preparations. Similarly, many other salts are produced by the action of by the neutralization reaction of many different salts, acids and bases. In the case of sodium chloride, we already discussed in previous chapter. Sodium, Na is a positively charged ion and chlorine, Cl is a negatively charged ion. Na plus and Cl minus is forms ionic bonding and forms an ionic compound. Its force of attraction is very strong. By the action of acid on metals, when metal react with acid produce salt and hydrogen gas. For example, zinc is reacted with sulfuric acid H2SO4 produces zinc sulfate ZnSO4 plus H2 hydrogen gas. Another reaction we already discussed. By the action of acid on metal carbonate and metal hydrogen carbonate, acid when react with metal carbonate or metal hydrogen carbonate also produces salt, water and carbon dioxide. These are the main chemical reactions of acid and base to produce salt and water, and acid and other materials to produce salt and water. When a strong acid reacts with a strong base, produces a neutral salt. Its pH value is 7. When a weak acid reacts with a strong base, produces basic salt. Its pH value greater than 7. When a strong acid reacts with a weak base, it produces an acidic salt, pH value less than 7. When weak acid and weak base reacted, forms different types of salts. We are going to discuss it more. In our daily life, we use many salts. We are now going to discuss about the commonly used salts. One commonly used salt is sodium chloride. We can directly obtain it from seawater. So we didn't go to neutralization reaction to produce salt. We get salt from seawater and we use this salt to produce sodium hydroxide, hydrochloric acid, chlorine, etc. etc. Now we are going to discuss about baking soda. What is baking soda? Baking soda is used to cook some food items like cakes, bread, etc. When we add baking soda to a dough, it expands and we get a soft food items. And also the cooking become easy and fast. The chemical name of baking soda is NaCO3, sodium hydrogen carbonate. It's a white powder we use in our daily food items, but it is not a good one. It is harmful to our body. Continuous use cause many digestive problems. We can go through the manufacturing of baking soda. A process known as Solvent process is used to make baking soda. It is mainly used for manufacturing washing soda, but baking soda is an intermediate process. We get baking soda as an intermediate product. When we continue the process, when we continue the Solvent process, we get washing soda. If we stop the Solvent process in intermediate stage, we get baking soda. This is the setup for making baking soda. We can go through the steps. First, raw materials required. The following materials are required for starting Solvent process. First one, limestone, which is calcium carbonate, CaCO3, limestone. We get it from seabed. Sodium chloride in the form of brine, that means concentrated sodium chloride solution. Ammonia, NH3. By using these three raw materials, we can easily develop baking soda in using Solvent process. In Solvent process, carbon dioxide is obtained by heating limestone strongly. We heat limestone, CaCO3 strongly. We get calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. Calcium oxide is CaO is known as quicklime, and also we get carbon dioxide. We add ammonia, a maximum amount of ammonia in brine, that means concentrated sodium chloride solution, and pass this carbon dioxide through this brine mixed with ammonia. The chemical equation is NaCl in aqueous form, that means is solution form, a concentrated solution form, plus carbon dioxide, it is in gaseous form, plus NH3. Ammonia is also in gaseous form, plus H2O. We get NaCO3, that means sodium hydrogen carbonate, and NH4Cl, ammonium chloride. Both are useful products. Our main product is NaCO3. When NaCl plus CO2 plus NH3 plus H2O gives NaCO3 plus NH4Cl. NaCO3 is soluble in water and crystallizes out as a white crystal. Its solution in water is basic in nature and it's a mild non-corrosive base. When we heat NaCO3, it's converted into sodium carbonate and carbon dioxide. To NaCO3 on heating, it produces Na2CO3, that means sodium carbonate and H2O plus CO2. When we add baking soda, sodium hydrogen carbonate, into a food item and heating it up, it produces carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide expands Duff, and when we take a small amount of Duff by adding this sodium hydrogen carbonate, we can expand it to make bread, cake, etc. etc. It is very soft. By adding NHCO3, we can make Duff very soft. The main use of sodium hydrogen carbonate is used for cooking of certain foods, for making baking powder, a mixture of sodium hydrogen carbonate and tartaric acid. We already discussed on heating. During baking, baking soda gives off carbon dioxide. It is this carbon dioxide which raises the Duff. The sodium carbonate produced on heating the baking soda gives a bitter taste. Therefore, instead of using the baking soda alone, baking powder is used. Tartaric acid neutralizes this acid base produced by heating. So, the bitter taste will remove. In medicines, it's a mild non-corrosive base. So, baking soda is used to neutralize excessive acid in stomach, like an antacid. It is used as an antacid. In soda acid, fire extinguisher. We already discussed this in our previous class. So in soda, we can see a red cylinder in offices and bus, etc. etc. As a fire extinguisher to cut off fire. When catches fire, we break and spray the powder inside the cylinder. This cylinder contains this baking soda. When baking soda is heating up, it produces carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is heavier than oxygen. It becomes below the oxygen, above the fire, and cut off the connection between fire and oxygen. So the fire will cut off. So we use soda acid in soda acid fire extinguishers. Baking soda is main fuel. By spraying this baking soda, we can easily cut off the fire. In next class, we can discuss about washing soda. You should clearly understand the Solvent process. Then washing soda, studying about washing soda preparation is also very easy, because Solvent process is the process for producing washing soda. Baking soda is an intermediate product. So we can conclude today's class now.